All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us all this truth through well. Shalom to the Akim out there, to the Akwath, to the brothers out there listening and learning, increasing in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, to the scattered abroad and to the elect. I say Shalom. I wanted to go into this. All right, this was Eddie Griffin. All right, and it was how he likes messing with Christians, you know. So it says it starts out messed up in the beginning in the book of Genesis. All right, talking about how the book of Genesis or the scriptures mess up in the beginning, you know. So I just wanted to play it real quick, and I wanted to go through the scriptures just to edify. So I hope this is edifying. Let me play this.
Starts out messed up in the beginning in the book of Genesis. In the beginning there was Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. And Cain and Abel got married. To who? Where did these mystery bitches come from? I like messing with Christians, man. Because they easy to get. You can get on their skin quick, you know. You know, I tell a Christian in a minute, I say, I don't believe Jesus died on no cross.
That'll be for another video, but the beginning, he, you know, and I've been going through the book of Genesis. The Spirit was in me to start going back through it, and, you know, of no coincidence, this video pops up in YouTube, you know, as a short, and, you know, I wanted to watch it and go back through that history of why it was the way it was, you know. So first of all, it's not in the beginning, all right, but it is in the first few chapters of Genesis where it speaks of Adam and Eve. You know, it speaks of Adam being made and created in Genesis chapter 2, all right, and it goes through the creation of Adam, all right, or really of man, you know. I believe it was let me see, Genesis 2:19, and out of the ground Yahweh formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. All right, so when you go back through Genesis 1, by the fifth day, that's when all the beasts of the field were created. All right, on the fourth day, all the living creatures of the waters were created, you know, and the flocks of the air, you know. So Adam was already created, you know, but it goes deeper than that. So it says, verse 20, and Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. All right, and Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. All right, so when you go through the Hebrew, all right, this really is talking about a family member of Adam, okay? Which, if Adam had a family member, that means there was people already populated on the earth, you know? It wasn't only Adam, you know, the first created ever, you know, and then out of him and Eve, you know, came the rest of the people at that time. You know, it doesn't go like that. All right, that's why it says, and he slept, which means he was in a trance. All right, when you go through the scriptures, and took one of his ribs. All right, which means somebody of a close nature, and close up the flesh instead thereof, which signifies them becoming married. All right, so now going back through verse 21 again, and Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, which means a trance. All right, he was in a trance, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs. All right, so when you go into that, and he took, all right, Lakwa, one of his ribs, which means one of his family members. All right, we don't know how close she was to Adam, you know, but it says took one of his family members to get, fetch, lay a hold of, seize, receive, acquire, buy, bring, marry, and take a wife. You see, so there was a woman that was taken out of the family of man, all right, given to Adam, okay, because we all come from man, right, given to Adam, and they became one. Which, how do you marry? How do you marry somebody according to the scriptures, which is the book of truth, right? This is Genesis, I believe it was Genesis 24 and verse 61, if I'm not mistaken. 67, Salak. It says, and Isaac brought her, which is Rebekah, into his mother Sarah's tent, all right, which is after Isaac had met Rebekah, and they were promised to each other, and finally, whenever they got together, it says, and Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, which is a bed, okay? It's not a whole house, okay? They didn't get married inside of a house, all right? He took Rebekah into a room, all right, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. By what? By the act of sex. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. You see? So that's how it happened. So back in Genesis chapter 2, it says to bring or to marry, to take a wife, right? And that word take is to lay hold of, to remove. You see? Someone or something from a particular place. All right, that's why it says it took one of the ribs, all right, to remove, right, and close the flesh thereof, which means what? When they become one. All right, when you marry somebody, you become one, right? It says took one of the ribs, all right, one of the closest family members, and closed up the flesh instead thereof, right? So let's go back into that. One of his ribs, and let's look up the word ribs, which means rib of man, a beam. All right, so something that comes from man, right? Which the root word of that is to curve, which has no equivalence to what the scriptures are bringing out. But it says a side, all right, rib, beam, side chambers or cells of temple structure, so of his family members, of the same genus, because there was the sons of men, there was the sons of God, and there was the sons of the wicked. Those were the three different ones at that time. Rib of man, right? So she came from man. So going back, so it says close up the flesh, and flesh, that's pretty easy, of humans, right? Which is of humans, mankind, So it says instead thereof, which is the under part, beneath, instead of, as for the sake of, all right, beneath, which was what? It says back in verse 21 again, and he took one of his ribs, one of his close family members, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. You see? So she was beneath Adam, okay? And Adam was the head, And by closing the flesh thereof is whenever they came together as one, as scripture states. Verse 22, and the rib which Yahweh, the Most High, had taken from man, right? The woman that was taken from man, made he a woman, which that word woman doesn't mean what it means now. All right, you look at a older a female, and she's considered a woman, right, when she passes the age of her flower, and brought her unto the man. But let's read that again. It says, in the rib, all right, and the rib which Yahweh, the Most High, or the gods of Yahweh, or Yahweh's gods, Salak, which are the angels and Yahweh Shai, had taken the rib which he had taken from the man, right? And the rib which Yahweh's powers had taken from man, made he a woman. All right, so that person that the Most High took from the family and gave to Adam, made a woman, right? Made a what? A wife. How do you make a wife? Back in Genesis 24, verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. All right, so that means Isaac went in unto Rebekah, and that's how she became the wife, right? The same thing with Adam and Eve. Adam was given, when he was in a trance, all right, he was given a woman, and he took the woman, and then she became his wife, which is woman, all right? Man, all right? Mankind, mortal person, all right, of an individual. All right, so women came from men, and that's also stated in the scriptures. You know, that's why they're called our ribs. You know, and then brothers also mention that, my rib signifying, the woman. So it says, therefore shall man leave his father, verse 24, and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That's why it says in verse 21 that the flesh was closed thereof, right? And they were both naked, and the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. All right, why? Because they didn't have that knowledge, the wisdom and understanding of good and evil like we do now. Which through that we can see salvation by staying in this truth. There's another scripture where it says, talking about wisdom, I believe it was Sirach 24, might have been Wisdom of Solomon, but it says, the first man knew her not, neither will the last. Because wisdom is so vast. You see? But Adam and Eve were naked at that time. One, from this truth. Okay, that they have wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And two, what did they just get through doing? So, going to Genesis chapter 4, and Adam knew his wife, all right, and she conceived, okay? She conceived. So this time when Adam went unto his wife, which was already his wife because he already laid with her, all right, she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahweh, and Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. All right, was that word fall, which also is in Genesis 2 and Genesis 3. When he caused caused Adam to fall. All right, that word fall is Napoleon. All right, which also is confused in giants for Genesis chapter 6. Napoleon is fallen. Okay, fallen from what? Fallen from the grace of the Most High. But in this case, Nepal, which was used in the falling of Adam into a trance. Okay, that was an actual fall. So it says, let me see here, verse 5. But unto Cain and his offering had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. All right, which is the same reason why Esau Edom isn't allowed in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, because he was rejected just like Cain was rejected through the Spirit. So going down to where this dude, Where it says, he said that Cain and Abel had children, which is not even true. All right, Cain had children. Abel was killed by Cain before he had children. And then when he had children, he had a mark on him. And that's what made him a target. He was a pale man. The word human is people of hue, of color. So the first people on this planet were people of actual color. All right, and Cain was a serpent. Cain was a devil. That's why he had that mark on him, just like Esau, Edom. So it says, let me play that again.
Starts out messed up in the beginning in the book of Genesis. In the beginning there was Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. And Cain and Abel got married.
Cain and Abel didn't get married. Cain got married to women, okay? To a woman, just like Esau got married to a woman. But just like Adam got married to a woman, it was of a different family, of a different family. That's how they had children. Now, to prove that, because it's a little vague, but through the Spirit and power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai showed it to our elders, and our elders showed it to us. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 31, and let me start off at verse. Let me see. Branches have fallen. Yeah, this is Ezekiel 31 and 11. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out of his wickedness, and strangers and terrible of the nations have cut him off, have left him upon the mountains, and in all the valleys of his branches are fallen, and his bows are broken by all the rivers of the land, and all the people of the earth are gone down from his shadow, and have left him. Upon his ruin shall all the fowl of the heaven remain, and upon the beasts of the field shall be upon his branches. Let me actually jump down to verse 15. It says, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, in the day when he went down to the grave, I caused a mourning. Salak. Let me go up. I believe it starts up here. God. Let me start off from the top. This is Ezekiel 31 and 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the 3rd month, and in the 1st day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness? Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches, and with shadowing shroud, and of a high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs. The waters made him great, and the deep set him in the high, with her rivers running round about his plants. All right, and that was the Fertile Crescent, which is where Adam and Eve were lived, where Adam lived, and where the beginning started. It was in the Middle East, over there in that Fertile Crescent. It says, and sent her, which is where Babylon later was, modern day Iraq, right? So it says, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long, because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth. And the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all the great nations. Now who were we talking about? Right? Who did we just read about that started naming all the cattle, and everybody was drawn unto Adam? Right? Then it says, and under his shadow dwelt all the great nations. You see? Under his rulership, it says, thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. And the cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height,